The Mahabharata is a very old and very long story. It comes from India many thousands of years ago. It is one of the biggest poems ever written in the world. This epic tale is very important. It tells us about Dharma, which means doing the right thing. It also shows us what happens when people choose the wrong path. Many people in India and around the world still read and tell this story. It is full of adventures, heroes, and important lessons for everyone, young and old. This amazing story was said to be written down by the wise sage Vyasa. But Vyasa needed help, so he asked Lord Ganesha, the elephant-headed god. Ganesha agreed to write, but only if Vyasa told the story without stopping. Vyasa agreed, but had his own condition. Ganesha must understand every word before writing it. This made Ganesha think carefully. The story is so vast, like a huge forest. It has so many characters and so many smaller stories inside it, making it rich and deep. The main story is about a big family. It is the Kuru family. There are two groups of cousins in this family. One group is called the Pandavas. They are mostly good and follow Dharma. The other group is called the Kauravas. They are often jealous and want power. The story tells us about their lives. It shows how they grew up together. It also shows how their problems started and grew bigger and bigger, like a small fire turning into a huge blaze. The Mahabharata is not just a story of kings and wars. It is a story about human feelings. It talks about love, anger, jealousy, and forgiveness. It teaches us about making choices. Every character in the story makes choices. Some choices are good and some are bad. We can learn from their mistakes and their good deeds. That is why this story is still told today. It helps us understand life and how to live better, guided by good values and understanding. The Kuru kingdom was very powerful. Its capital was Hastinapura. The story focuses on the princes of this kingdom. There were two main branches of the family. One branch came from King Pandu. His sons were known as the Pandavas. King Pandu had two wives, Kunti and Madri. Kunti had 3 sons. Madri had 2 sons. But Pandu could not have children himself due to a curse. So the Pandavas were born with the blessings of different gods, making them special. The 5 Pandava brothers were very famous. The eldest was Yudhishthira. He was known for being truthful and always following Dharma. He was the son of Yama, the god of justice. The second was Bhima. He was very, very strong, with the power of 10,000 elephants. He was the son of Vayu, the wind god. The third was Arjuna. He was a great archer, the best in the world. He was the son of Indra, the king of gods. The younger 2 were twins, Nakula and Sahadeva. They were handsome and skilled. They were sons of the Ashvini Kumaras, the divine twin horsemen. The other group of cousins was the Kauravas. They were the sons of King Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was Pandu's older brother. He was born blind, so Pandu became king first. Dhritarashtra had 100 sons and 1 daughter. His wife was Queen Gandhari. She chose to blindfold herself because her husband was blind. Their eldest son was Duryodhana. He was very proud and very ambitious. He was also very jealous of the Pandavas, especially of Bhima's strength and Arjuna's skills. His closest friend was Karna, a mighty warrior. The Pandavas and Kauravas grew up together in Hastinapura. They were taught by the same guru, Dronacharya. Dronacharya taught them how to use weapons and fight. Arjuna was Drona's favorite student because he was so skilled and dedicated. Yudhishthira learned to use the spear. Bhima became a master of the mace. Duryodhana also learned the mace, and he was very strong too. But even as children, the seeds of rivalry were sown. Duryodhana always felt that the Pandavas were given more attention and praise. This made him very unhappy. Duryodhana's jealousy grew stronger every day. He did not like that people loved the Pandavas. He especially hated Bhima and often tried to harm him. When Yudhishthira was made the crown prince, Duryodhana became very angry. He believed he should be the next king because his father, Dhritarashtra, was the current ruler. He plotted with his uncle Shakuni. Shakuni was very clever and sly. He always gave Duryodhana bad advice. Together, they planned to get rid of the Pandavas and take the entire kingdom for themselves. Their first big evil plan was the House of Luck. Duryodhana convinced his father, Dhritarashtra, to send the Pandavas and Kunti to a town called Varanavata. He had a beautiful palace built there, but this palace was made of lac, a material that burns very easily. The plan was to set the palace on fire when the Pandavas were sleeping. But the Pandavas were warned by their wise uncle Vidura. They dug a secret tunnel. When the house was set on fire, they escaped through the tunnel into the forest, saving their lives. Everyone in Hastinapura thought they had died. While living in hiding in the forest, the Pandavas heard about a Swayamvara. A Swayamvara was a ceremony where a princess chose her husband. Princess Draupadi of Panchala was choosing her husband. Arjuna, disguised as a poor Brahmin, went to the ceremony. He completed a very difficult archery task that no other king or prince could do. He won Draupadi as his wife. When they returned to their hut, Kunti, without looking, told them to share whatever they had brought. So Draupadi became the wife of all 5 Pandava brothers. This was unusual, but happened due to Kunti's words and past destinies. When the elders in Hastinapura found out the Pandavas were alive, they were invited back. To avoid more conflict, the kingdom was divided. The Pandavas were given a barren land called Kandavaprastha. With the help of Lord Krishna and Maya, the divine architect, they turned it into a magnificent city. They named it Indraprastha. Yudhishthira became the king of Indraprastha. He performed a big sacrifice called Rajasuya Yagna. Many kings came and accepted him as a great emperor. This made Duryodhana even more jealous and angry. He could not bear to see the Pandavas so successful and happy. Duryodhana's jealousy led to a terrible event. His uncle Shakuni suggested a game of dice. Yudhishthira loved to play dice, but he was not very good at it. Shakuni was a master cheat. They invited Yudhishthira to Hastinapura to play. In the game, Yudhishthira lost everything. He lost his kingdom, his wealth, and his brothers. He even lost himself and became a slave. Finally, he staked Draupadi. He lost her too. This was a very sad moment. Duryodhana was cruel and ordered Draupadi to be dragged into the royal court. Dushasana, Duryodhana's brother, dragged Draupadi by her hair. He tried to disrobe her in front of all the elders. Draupadi prayed to Lord Krishna for help. Krishna performed a miracle. As Dushasana pulled her sari, it kept getting longer and longer. He could not remove it. The elders were shocked, but most remained silent. Finally, Dhritarashtra, fearing a curse, granted Draupadi boons. She asked for her husbands to be freed. Another dice game was played. The Pandavas lost again. This time they were exiled for 12 years. They also had to spend 1 year in disguise, hidden from everyone. The Pandavas completed their 12 years of exile in the forest. They faced many hardships but also learned many things. Then they spent their 13th year in disguise in the kingdom of Virata. They were successful in remaining hidden. After the 13 years ended, they rightfully asked for their kingdom back. Lord Krishna himself went to Hastinapura as a peace messenger. He asked Duryodhana to give the Pandavas just 5 villages, but Duryodhana was arrogant. He refused to give them even a tiny piece of land, not even as much as a little. This refusal made war unavoidable. Both sides gathered their armies. The Great War was fought on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. It lasted for 8 years. Many great warriors died. Before the war began, Arjuna was sad. He did not want to fight his own family. Lord Krishna then taught him about dharma and duty. This teaching is called the Bhagavad Gita. It is a very important part of the Mahabharat. The Pandavas eventually won the war, but it was a victory with great loss. The Mahabharata teaches us that we must always try to do the right thing. It shows that choices have consequences. It leads to destruction. It tells us to uphold justice and righteousness always.